Yo, no maniacs. Welcome to the show. Long time no see. Thank you guys for coming, man. We got a pretty good show lined up for you guys. As you can see down there at the bottom right, got a very special guest jumped on with us again today. My guy, Coach T, man. I am so glad to have him on because when we created the thumbnail for this show, well, J2K created it, but the concept, I was thinking to myself, we've been talking a lot of Bear stuff in the off season. And I think I think over here on Nomad Live and on Nomad at Night, I think we've kind of glossed over the whole offensive line conversation a little bit and not really gotten into detail about it the way I think we should. And when we start talking about that kind of conversation and why it's important to have it right in the trenches, you bring on people that can give you a detailed perspective of what that should entail, what it should look like, what it should sound like, what it should feel like by the time they leave training camp and getting into regular season, even into preseason, man. They should have some stuff kind of dialed in with Caleb Williams and that offensive line. If you follow me on Twitter, you probably saw the post I just made and it went something like somewhere in the hot sun and saying there should be a rookie quarterback and offensive lineman, going through reps, and in between times when they take breaks, go over there and sip your mojito, but then get your ass back out there and start working. Because I think mojito? Yeah, mojito, sure. Man. You gotta have some mojitos. It's vacation, man. So that's what I expect Caleb Williams to be doing. We're gonna have a conversation about whether that's happening or not. I did hear him say, that he was kind of facilitating, bringing his teammates out to get some work in. He even included players from the defense, and that's good too, Coach. It's better to get those reps. It's good to get reps on air. Any kind of reps work, but when you got defense in front of you, a little bit of resistance, a little bit of live coverage going on, that just makes the process a whole lot better instead of going against air. But that being said, man, again, welcome to the show, you guys. Some real quick housekeeping. We decided that right now, I think this is the best thing for us is to do scheduled shows only on Tuesday and Sunday. So it'll be moving forward until we get into the regular season, all that stuff starts to happen, and you'll get impromptu shows. So make sure you set your notification bell for those. But Tuesday, 3 p.m. Central, that's Nomad Live, and Sunday at 8 p.m. Central, that's Nomad at Night moving forward. And so that's what we're going to do. We're just trying to accommodate people's schedules and trying not to do so many shows so people feel obligated to be here, man. People have lives and, have to consider that and, put that at the forefront. With that being said, let me pass it on to my guy, the Canuck, real quick, to give some pleasantries before we really get cooking.
What it's doing, no mania. Yes. It's in the building. It's Tuesday. Everybody's happy. We got the Coach T with us. We got the Superback with us. And my guy Nomad to my left. Long story short, it's hot like stink in Canada. That is as far as I'm going to complain about the weather because it could be cold as all hell. Right?
So it sounds like a complaint to me.
I'm complaining, but I'm not complaining. It could be much. It could be much worse. Mind you, like if my air conditioner was working, I wouldn't be saying a GD thing. Anyhow, giving mad love to the No Maniacs out there. Barelissimo's down with us today. Patty Laura's out there. Hey, Patty, Mr. Mayhem, Jake Grizz, AC Adam, Squeegee's there, the Nodge, Victor Tangent, our guy, King Booker World. Who else we got? Cornelius Squalls, number 2 No Maniac out there. Our homie J2K is in the chat holding it down as per normal. Who else we got? Anybody else out there holding it down with us? Jason's with us. We got Armando, our guy Junior. How's it going, Junior? Hope everything's good. And Fluid 2212 Flocka and our guy Crimson. What it do, Crimson? Hey, everybody's filing into the show. We're gonna keep it live for you. Throw it down to my guy, the Coach. How you doing, Coach T?
Coach.
Man, chilling, man. Hanging out. Glad to be back, man. Nomad, Sean, kids, bro. The fellas in the building, man. Glad to get it in with y'all today.
Yes,
By the
sir.
way, smart move on y'all part, man, to space this thing out. We're in the dog days of summer, man. Not a whole lot going on, man. And you gotta recoup. You gotta R&R before the season kicks up because y'all know when the season kick in, we all gonna be kicking out kicking out content. You know, I can't wait for to have film footage to break down. Excited for when that actually starts transpiring, and we can figure out what the product looks like.
What say you, Super Back?
Man, sports owners and Nomaniacs unite. It's been a long time. We should have left you.
Couldn't have left you
without no stuff to talk to. Man, I miss you, Muggs, boy. It's been fun. And you guys will be able to catch me tomorrow. Make sure you follow Sports Zone Chicago's YouTube channel. All right, follow us. You'll like my man Nomad said, we cut back in Sports Zone Chicago. So we're only going live on Wednesdays until July 24th. So the next 6 weeks. All right, we're going just live one time, Sean and Maya in the morning on Wednesdays. Mondays and Fridays will be reruns. All right, so come back and like Coach T said, you got to recharge your batteries, man. You know, the emotional swings that people have. Oh, Caleb dropped the incompleted a pass or didn't complete a pass. Cut him. Caleb completed a pass. Hall of Fame. Like, come on, guys. Those emotional swings are crazy. Everybody, and it's just silly. All right, how many times can we, a week can we talk about the same thing over and over and over and over and over again? So you know what? I needed a break. I needed a break personally. Nomad needed a break, and it's good. It's good for all of us. Just kind of step back, relax, exhale, and you know what? Build up them cool points. Like I said on my show, build up some cool points, man. All right, take the ladies. If you're summertime shy or summertime wherever you're at. There's festivals, there's rooftops, there's restaurants, there's patios. Take the missus out there because come football season, man, you know how crazy it gets. You're gonna have a lot of time for your significant other. But anyway, I say all that because I am fired up to talk today, man. I am super fired up because I don't get to talk to you anymore, especially for the next 6 weeks. It's once a week or twice a week. So, man, let's get it on. What did Marvin Gaye say? Let's get it on. Oh, yeah.
While we're talking about it, man, before I forget about it, happy belated Father's Day, man. You two dads over here to the right, man. I appreciate you brothers for being good fathers. I know that for a fact. Just by the way I talk to you guys, I know I'm talking to good dads. And all you guys in the chat too, man. All you guys, happy belated Father's Day, man.
What about the puppies? They say, hey, puppy.
Hey, man. Hey, whatever you are, I'm nobody's dad, but I'm a whole bunch of people's dad at the same time. Hundreds of kids, man. Trust me. When I tell you mentoring is a lifetime thing, you never stop being that role model and father figure for all those kids I had to deal with. So, man, I pat myself on the back for that. But let me put something on the board here, man, because we're going to talk about this real quick, guys. Thanks to Lester Wilfong Jr., who I saw this on Twitter. He gave an update on Bears training camp. So Bears training camp, rookies will be back on the 16th, vets on the 19th, first public practice on the 26th, and tickets available starting July 9th. Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they need to go to the official Chicago Bears website in order to get those tickets. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, you have to go there. You download it. You supply. It's free, $3.99. Don't worry about it. But they're just trying to keep a head count of people, of people that in camp because Hallis Hall is not that big. All right, so which still bugs me that they have it at Hallis Hall and not in Bourbonnais, but Nimolo, what are you gonna do? But yeah, they just want to get a head count.
So I'll say that one more time. The rookies will be here July 16th. The 19th, the veterans will be here. First public practice is the 26th. You see it scrolling down on the bottom of the ticker. First public practice is on the 26th, and you can get tickets starting July 9th. And Sean, you got any updates, man? What's going on with you, man? You gonna be a presence out there or what?
We're gonna apply for credentials because we were in people who get credentials, they've been in the box for their second out. It'll be their third year now. So we'll see. Hopefully, it may. I'm gonna find out. If I do, my show will have to be pushed back at times. I'll have to be there every day. Oh darn! And so we'll see. But we're gonna apply for credentials and see if they can get me in there every day. If they can, man, ooh, Charlie, I'll be happy as a pig in slop.
Yeah, I'd like to, Coach. You gonna be out there at all, man? You got any plans to get up here, or you just waiting on the games?
Hey, I'm tagging along with Sean. I'm trying to mimic his plan for this year. So it's gonna be year one for Chicago Bears 360, man. we're applying for credentials, man. If we can get it to go, then it'll be worth the trip. So it's all predicated on them, man. We can get in there, we'll be there. It'll probably be hit and miss, though. It'll probably be like, a couple of days during the week, back to the city, and then I'll have to pick and choose my spots, man.
Yeah. So I'm at some part during this show, I'm going to reach a point where I mention 2 words with 3 syllables. It's going to say Nate Davis. And you're going to see Sean go off like your damn alarm clock at some point during the show. I promise you.
Sean started shaking his head. You didn't even finish the man's name.
He's going to pop off. I guarantee you.
I don't blame him for a second either. I don't blame him.
We already got into in the spaces over Nate Davis, but we're going to get there.
That's right, we did.
We're going to get there in due time. We're going to go through individually, where we think these guys are. It'd be nice if I had some RAS scores. Even though I can do something else with a piece of paper with a RAS score on it, but might be worth looking at their percentiles as far as pass block efficiency, run block efficiency. But if we don't get to it, then it's pay that no, never mind. But the first thing we're going to talk about, man, and I think I should go to you, Coach, first with this one, and it's the cadence, and it's about the difference. Most of those guys have been there when Justin Fields was there, and if you guys that watch this stuff and watch these podcasts and watch the games, this might have flown under the radar to even you. Justin Fields has a very strong baritone voice. Very, very strong, and it reverberates. As opposed to Caleb Williams, I haven't really heard him out there under center, so I don't know if his voice changes at all, Coach. But he doesn't seem, based on some of the reports of you hearing people talking about he needs to find his voice and all that kind of thing. It makes me think certain things. I just want to see me making that statement to you, what triggers in your mind as far as the thought goes.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned in pre-production, right? I'm working on the package for the show because I think the media, Chicago media, and some of the social media oversimplifying the fans too, oversimplifying the topic because, what I'm saying, we want to paint this new era with rose-colored glasses, if you will, so to speak, right? With hey, we got a new quarterback. He's got a good arm strength and good arm talent and good skill set. But oversimplifying the topic around cadence, and this is what fans need to keep in mind, right? Too, because a lot of times the media they don't know the level, they don't know the nuances of football, right? They don't know the details. They pick the best word that they can find to describe something, right? For example, this whole conversation, the topic about cadence, right? When I hear them talk about it, I don't hear the challenge necessarily being with the actual cadence itself and the inflection of voice or using that command voice, as us military folks like to call it, right? That command, that presence voice, where you're speaking from your diaphragm and all that other stuff. That stuff will come. That's also part of the evolution of a leader, right? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter whether you're in the corporate boardroom, you're standing in front of military formation, or you're speaking as a coach to a football team. You find your voice and you're able to inflect how you inflect, and it's organic to you. I think that part is the least of our challenges as Chicago Bears fans, players, media, so on and so forth. Him finding his voice and inflect and speak with a level of confidence and inflection that's convicting, that makes people want to run through a brick wall for you. That's what I call it. That's how I describe it. I remember when I used to speak to my young Marines, right? I remember early on when they were trying to teach you how to call cadence and all that other stuff, whether we were running or you just call it marching cadence. It took a moment for you to find your organic voice. And once you did, you just did. It's a process. It happens organically. But what I don't want fans to do is mix the conversation about cadence, right? The cadence, the inflection of your voice and finding your organic tone and DNA of your voice that causes people to attract to you. I don't want you to mix that with game operations or play call or play operations, the operations of a play, which I believe is the bigger hurdle, the larger hurdle for Caleb to cross. And what I mean by that is there's a difference between the air raid offense cadence, air quotes. I'm gonna air quote that, right? Because we were talking about the difference between cadence and gameplay operation. There's a difference between that and an actual gameplay operation, right? Get the call, recall the call, recite the call with accuracy, right? Just to get the call out. That's different in this NFL offense than what he's done at USC and Oklahoma in his career, right? And I'm working on the package for the show when we finally come back to show an example between NFL play call and the air raid call, which is in Cliff Notes, goes like this. The air raid offense, look to the sideline, get a call. It's easy. It's either one or two numbers, sometimes maybe three, but it's going to be a simple look to the sideline, get a signal, hey, 88, 8, 89, 62. There's going to be some kind of symbol involved. You relay the call, right? Run the play. It's just that simple, right? It's look to the sideline, get the signal. Oh, we're running 88. Okay, here's my signal for 88, 88, 88. Give the call to all the wide receivers, adjust your protection, hand clap, off to the races. Whereas now, Buddy has to hear, Caleb has to go through personnel, formation, route combinations, all that stuff. So I give the example all the time when I'm describing my offense of an ace gun, ace gun, ace right gun, right? Which is 11 personnel, one running back, one tight end. Ace right gun is I'm going to have, what am I have? I have ace right. So I'm going to have two wide receivers to the right, one tight end to the left. Running back is going to be lined up to my right. That's the personnel. I might call Y off. I'm going to move the Y off the line of scrimmage. So ace right gun, Y off, R over. If the running back is on to his normal side, I want to move him on to the opposite side. I got to go R over. So ace right gun, Y off, R over, Z fly. You know what I'm saying? All these things to move players around and get them in. You know what I'm saying? I might go scatter the ace right gun, scatter the ace right gun, Y off, Z over. That part is what I think the media is trying to describe when they say cadence, right? And then fans are hearing cadence. Oh, there's no problem for you to go up to the line of scrimmage and go, said Blue 83, said go. That's nothing. So they oversimplify it as, oh, that's something he'll be able to get down with no problem before XYZ happens, before the start of the season. No, if it's the latter, if it's ace right gun, Y off, Z R over, Z fly, Florida, set Florida, 83 cross over X or whatever. If it's that part, then that's going to be a process. That's going to take some time. And that needs to be, that milestone needs to be a critical box that Shane Waldron and Caleb check when they, in their minds, feel as if he has that part of it down versus just being able to stand in front of the huddle and inflect his voice, right? So totally different conversation, but I wanted to point that out, and I hope me explaining that or talking about it makes sense.
I'm glad you made the difference because, and you know what? Let me be quiet and pass it to Sean. Sean's waiting.
No, that was right on, man. You know, as a defensive coordinator, you know, for a long, you know, when I was one of my head coaches, he had does the same thing. He'd go in, he'd just call 11, 11, 11. So 11 formation, you call 11. People had to go. If you're in 11 personnel, you get out there. If you're not, you come out and you're calling the people. See how to practice who you know. Say we're in 13 personnel, or say we're in 22 personnel. So if he yells 11, whoever's still on the sideline, they got to come out and they know who have to yell. You know, Keds, you know, Nomad, you're out. All right. Then they all be looking at the sideline, and he would hitch up his pants, pull up his pants. That would be hitches. All right. We have hitches. Come back. There's a drive. So he'd look at that like, okay, he'd check the defense, what they were running, check his, see what the tendencies were on that specific down and distance. He'd look, okay, they do this. Okay, cool. He'll go, he'll call the formation with a hand signal. He'll go hitches, he'll go come back and give it to the quarterback. Now the wide receivers know, and line know it's a pass. The line already knows, and it's quick like that. And then there are other times that's when we want to speed it up. And then other times, just like Coach said, it's a lot of, you got to move, and Caleb's not going to be ready yet, so it's going to be a work in progress. Year 2 and beyond, it'll be so much easier because he won't have to learn it as much. He won't have to learn it. He'll just refine it. So it's a big part because you want, what if you want to move a guy? What if you need to say, man, is it zone? Is it man? Boom. He has to be able to decide that. And there'll come a point in time where he'll be like, hey man, look, I might look at you just to see. All right. You see the way Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey got a little vibe, little feel. He might say, hey man, let me see if it's motion. Let me see what it is zoning out. I'm gonna give you a quick look. And wide receiver like, all right, bet I got it. So he'll go zigzag motion just to tell. It's all a learning process. So it's gonna be fun to watch, and especially when you understand football on that level. And that, man, it's really, really cool to see, like, oh, what are they doing? How is he communicating? How is he trying to see, who's the mic and who's this? It's really, really fun. And that's where I get really excited when it gets to that point. But it's going to be a learning process for him. But he's a smart guy. Just opened up an investment firm, actually.
But and Sean made me think of something real fast on that, right? That's just the play call. That's just getting guys to the line of scrimmage, right? That's not the protection adjustment, right? That's not knowing what the center's protection calls is, right? Whether he's going to slide protect or scat protect right, scat protect left. If you don't know what scat protection is where they go 3x2, right? If you're going to go 3x2, block it up to the numbers, right? And then go man to man on the 2 side, on the back side, right? So you go zone to the front side. Say in my offense, a scat protection might be, rain and lightning both come from the sky, right? So the easy indicator in my offense is if I call rain, we scat protecting to the right. If I call lightning, it's scat protecting pass pro. That's to make you connect the dots. Hey, it's coming from the sky. It's a pass play. We scat protecting left. So we're going to slide 3 to the left for lightning. And on the backside, we got those 2 guys on the backside, right? And then usually the running back, I'm going to Sean's territory, is, you split the 3x2. So you go scat protect lightning, 3 to the zone side to the left, 2 on the back side. The running back splits different, right? But they all have different rules, and he has to learn whatever SEMO has installed as the core rules. Now, the good news is those rules have been in for a while. SEMO's been there for a while. Coach Dre's been there for a while. Shouldn't a whole lot change for the offensive line. It's Caleb catching up with that, right? And then bringing up the speed on what's what, why they're blocking it that way. For example, I'll give you an example. Maybe in college, instead of you going scat protect, right? Scat protect meaning dividing the numbers 3x2, you go whole man slide, which a lot of people is part of their protection program. You got scat protection, you go 3x2 to one side or the other. Or in some offense, they just slide the whole offensive line one way. All 5 guys are going one way, and the running back comes off the end opposite. So if I go lightning, no scat. If I go scat lightning, scat means 3x2, running back splits the 3x2, right? If I go no scat, or if I just go straight lightning, I'm slide protecting everybody to the left. The running back knows lightning run opposite of lightning to go to the right. So go off the end right. Now, the reason why they don't like doing that whole slot protection is because you'll get a running back versus a defensive end, right? So they like to do the scat protection because usually in that situation, you get a running back versus a linebacker, and it's a better body matchup. Probably a little bit TMI, but
no.
I haven't been able to talk. I've been able to talk ball for a while, so y'all get it.
It's all good. And you know what? Because that gives me a good little inflection point. Because You know, I always talk to the viewers, and I do this all the time. I was just telling J2K this yesterday or the day before. You know, I always talk to the people that view the show as if there's somebody here for the first time, or if it's people who don't know football quite as well as others, and you try to simplify it as much as possible. And so, to what I'm about to ask kids is, with the simple way that I open up the show talking about cadence being referring to like the tone of voice, and them having to understand me, have down his tone of voice and really be able to get a grasp of it, versus what coach is laying out here for you. It's not so much that, it's that, plus it's also what the verbiage means and how it moves people around. You know, just knowing that, and I mean that's a whole wheelbarrow full of stuff for a rookie to get down for the first time really in his life and be ready for with a brand new offensive line, you know, come, you know, game one. So what did you take from how I started the show and what Coach T added to it?
The first thing I take away from the cadence conversation, and I'm glad that Coach T sort of broke it down a little bit differently than most folks, you know, out there understand it, right? So hopefully you guys sort of took that in. I'm gonna go a little bit differently here, because if we're talking cadence, and that's the focus, hopefully a lot of the other smaller details are in place and are coming naturally to not just Caleb but the rest of the offense. Truly understanding the cadence that he's delivering, his inflection, you know, which part means what to who. You know, these are tricky things that he's going to have to capture and master. Like we're all talking about it from a Caleb perspective, it's just as important that the rest of the offense fully understands his cadence and how he's saying what he's saying, so that at some point down the road we can get to the level where he can get a little sneaky with it and start to call defenses offside on a more regular basis, right? Less false starts under the same pretense. So there's a lot for him to understand, a lot for him to master. But if we're talking cadence, I'm truly hoping the rest of the stuff is more in line than we've seen in previous, with previous QBs. That's right.
You also got to remember at this stage.
Hold on just a second. Sean just froze up on us, but that's perfect timing, because I was going to go Coach T and then to Sean. And then when we're talking about now, Coach, trying to graduate the process to weaponizing the cadence and the call to be a weapon, which is something that I heard Coach Flus stand up there and he was effusive about. He wants to get it to that level. Give us an idea how that. I think it's going to take. Well, I know it's going to take a process for him to get the calls down and the verbiage down, and know how, you know, the alignment set up when he says those things, how these people move around, getting it to the point to where the offensive line has him down cold, he has them down cold, and now they've weaponized the play call. Just let's take it from there, Coach, and what do you think about it?
Again, I think those are great milestones, but it's too early to talk about him weaponizing the cadence right now, and to try to get people off sides. Even with all these training camp practices, and I promise you, my biggest concern is, can he get the play call in and repeat it and get everybody lined up in the right spot? And I'm gonna tell you one of the indicators that I saw, I've been paying attention to since camp started to now, is they've already, and this is not a bad thing. I mentioned it on Twitter X because I observed it, right? And I wanted to talk about it. But they've already gone to a wristband, right? I don't know if anybody picked up on that. Why on the wristband already? Because they're on the wristband. I'm just practicing inference, right? It doesn't take a whole lot to say, hey, 88, or 67. To me, they're on the wristband because lucky, X, Y, Z, flat, over, Y, Z, X, blah, blah, blah. These elongated play calls that he has to recite. It's going to just be better if he can look down and read off the wristband and get everybody lined up. The most important thing right now is him to get everybody in the right spot
I know.
And trying to take off and get the play actually executed. Now the downside of the wristband is it's only so much you can put on that wristband.
Damn right.
So that wristband is
to be surprised, Coach. You know you can put. There's only so much, but man, there's a lot of plays because don't forget, you lift it up. It has one. When you lift it up, the inside of it's two, and then the one inside your wrist.
They got the fancy ones now. Well, yeah, you can.
They got a Rolodex now.
Yeah, you can go front side. You can go front side, lift it up. You basically got 3 pages. You can get some stuff. You can get a lot of stuff on there. The question is, my question has always been, or my experience with the wristband has always been that one. I know defenders try and rip your wristband off, right? So make sure you got a backup one. This is just taking y'all, you know what I'm saying? In the game,
I used to tell my guys to do that.
Defenders try to rip your wristband off and get a hold of it. Two, you better have a contingency plan for the things that's not on that wristband. Meaning, as a coach, you better be 2 steps ahead and already knowing, okay, how do I make my in-game adjustments using the wristband? How do I make my halftime adjustments? Because if you're strictly on the wristband, right, you have to be pliable in, hey, if I go into halftime and something didn't work out the way we saw it on film during the week, maybe we're not protecting this the same way anymore. Or say it's just something just opposite of what's on the wristband. You better figure out, okay, how do I do that? You better have somebody with some real fast printers back there, can make some corrections real fast and slide those new inserts into that wristband. So when you go back out at halftime, that when you signal, hey, play 13, he looks down at play 13 on the wristband, that when play 13 is changed, that it's the same play everywhere, meaning the coach's call sheet is play 13, his play, everything lines up. You better have a plan. That's all I'm gonna say about that, because it could be a show if you don't have it together. This is from experience. I've been there and made an adjustment and been like, oh shit, I forgot we changed this at halftime, and I call play 13 and don't understand why little body lined up over here instead of over here, because we need to make the adjustment now. Say on this formation, you don't need to go R over no more or R on or off. I need the R to go to the offside, and we made this adjustment. Now I'm pissed at the players, and the players were like, Coach, you changed it though. You see what I'm saying? So just be mindful. Yeah, that's one of the observations.
They'll tell you, parents will tell you.
Hold on, Sean. I gotta ask you something, Sean, because keep your thinking hat cap on, because I want to ask y'all a real player to coach question. I'm the player, you guys are the coaches. At what point with Caleb Williams do you feel like, okay, we've given him a little bit too much information, time to cut it back and dumb it down? I'm talking about in training camp. When do you get to that point, Sean, where, okay, we might have been giving him a little bit too much to think about. We need to have a plan to cut this back and dumb it down. What do you see? What would you have to see out there to make you get to that point, Sean? Then I'm gonna go right back to coach.
I'd have to see him stop and asking a lot of questions. Like, hey, hold on, coach, when you're coming out of the huddle, I'll make the call like, hey, coach, or in the huddle, when he's talking to coach, like, and you see him taking a little longer coming out of the huddle, you'll notice that he's still not there. You're gonna ask questions, when that was the one thing that he said point blank. I'm asking a lot of questions right now. So you're gonna have to see when he comes out of the huddle and they go and they run right to the play, cool, you'll see it. But if he comes out like, hey, if they're still in the huddle and he's saying, hey, coach, and he's making some gestures, talking like, hey, but what about this and this and this and this, then you'll see that he still hasn't gotten it yet. They've said they throw a lot at him, but the kid is smart. The kid is smart. So we're going to see how much of the crazy, of the massive amount of crazy stuff that they threw at the wall has stuck in his brain, and we'll find that out. And that's where he has to continue to study now. Is where he's talking about getting these guys together. So you'll definitely know. He'll have and then as a coach, you'll see it. There's a look in his eye. There's a look in your eye when you're kind of like,
in the head, like,
can you What?
Go ahead, Coach. What's your trigger, man? What out of what I just said, man? At what point? What signal are you looking for to tell you that we putting a little bit too much on them? Let's cut it back. Let's dumb this down. Get this right.
Yeah. Well, real fast too. One, I reached out to his coach to ask him. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the process? How are y'all going about it? Because you can throw the whole book and say, here's everything. Learn it all, and then we'll figure it out when we get out there. We'll have of course they're gonna have an incremental plan for install and all that other stuff. Mm-hmm. But I asked them, what approach are y'all taking, and also what percent. I didn't get an answer yet. Usually that takes about a month and a half. But to get an answer back from these guys. But the question is, did you throw everything at them? And then y'all doing weekly, like incremental or daily incremental installs. Of course, there's going to be something for the day, but what's the approach? And then also I asked the question, what percentage of the offense is already in? I asked the question, haven't got a reply. But to answer your question, how will I know? It's almost like watching this particular team, or in theory. In theory, Sean made a lot of good points. Right, you getting a deer in the headlight look. He's screwing up the play calls. I mean, that's just the obvious thing, right? If what I call on the sheet is not lining up, the alignment, the formation is not what I gave you, then we got to talk about it. We're going to see that. But for the fans to look for is, like, I hate to answer a question with a question, but what are the fans going to be looking for the first preseason game, right? How are you gonna judge this offense as being at the place where they should be for a team of this level of youth together as far as 18, right? The only thing that I want to see, what day is it, August 1st? All I want to see is good game time operations, getting the play call, getting to the line of scrimmage, breaking the huddle smoothly, and running the play. I don't care about the result. I don't care if they get 1 yard, -5 yards. I don't care about anything. If they can consistently get through a preseason game or the scheduled number of plays that they're going to play, and we're not getting false start penalties, delay of games or any of that, then I would be perfectly happy. Of course, people are going to go crazy at the results that we didn't get, 500 yards in the first preseason game of the year, passing alone, not even running, right? But I just want to see a clean game time operations, play call operations, no penalties, no false starts, no delay of games, and that would have been a success for what's the first game, the Hall of Fame game. Then I'll know
the Hall of Fame game.
Got a good process. They got something going. Perhaps, and they got a good process, and we might be ready to go come week 1.
So, kid, what's your response to that? It was about too much information. He's not receiving it, not giving the output the way he's supposed to be giving it in a timely manner, and not getting up to the line of scrimmage. Not just the timing of it all. What if they get to a point that they've given them too much and they need to pull it back a little bit, dial it down a gear and dumb it down, and I'll just ask them basically, what would be the signals to them in order to make that judgment to do that. Do you feel good about their answers?
I think Sean and Coach kind of hit it. Like, they're going to see it, know it. And from there, you have to just simplify the offense, unfortunately. And I'm kind of hoping that they look at the first stretch. I'm going to extend that out to 10 games, but it might be shorter, a shorter period of time. But they should prepare sort of a 1.0 version of the offense and a 2.0 and sort of elevate him through just sort of through the season, so that he can get the opportunity to go, okay, so here's where I am and here's what I'm comfortable with, and they can scheme around that. And as he sort of grows through, but again, next couple of weeks is really them evaluating and figuring out where is he at? How comfortable are you with, the cadence and the offense as a whole and the defenses that are coming at you? How comfortable are you in this realm? Strangely, I have a strange feeling the kid might be comfortable. And I mean, by the time we get to game one, I have a strange feeling he's going to be comfortable. Under normal pretenses, I would be the pessimist out of the group. I'm just being real. I have a strange feeling this time around they're doing the right things. They have the right guys in place. They brought in the right coaches. It's just a question of him picking it up and putting it down in September.
So, Coach, I think I put this up here at the right time. This is you and Barlissimo's conversation going on here, and the teachable moments. You know, I think it's going to be so many of those, and I wouldn't get the teachable moments. Me being a defender, as I wouldn't look at it as, okay, he's not learning this stuff fast enough, or if he's asking a lot of questions. I definitely wouldn't look at it that way. I think I think a lot of questions just basically say, I just need a little bit of reassurance here. That's the way I take that and receive it.
Sorry, what Barlissimo is really pointing at is just, are they the right questions? And it's a really interesting point, because it's clear that everybody wants him to not only ask why, but also come out the other end and understand the whys. If he is asking why and he doesn't gain the understanding, you're going to notice, right? You're going to notice. You're also going to notice if he's asking just completely the wrong question that does not equate or point towards the why. So that's another good indicator as to, hey, you know what? Maybe we gave him a little bit too much, too much information to swallow. Let's take a step back and simplify stuff for the kid a little bit.
But it's not necessarily the wrong questions. All right, it's the questions that he asks are going to tell us, the coaches, where he's at. All right, that the question that they ask are going to let us know. Because if he's asking a question, answering a question with a question, well, you say, well, he doesn't get it. No, he might get it, but he might be 2, 3, 4 levels further on than we.
He might be already at the why, right? Like he might be already at the why.
Like Barlissimo says, though, if they run this and this, can I, what if I, in the middle of the cadence, just switch that backside go route to a backside corner route, because we're attacking the right seam, and that free safety, if it's a single high, that free safety might slide over to the seam, and I can attack him with a backside a backside post. Those questions, the questions that he asks, will tell the coaches where he's at. And that's where you have to figure out, okay, he's at, 60%, of understanding it, which is good. And let's not forget, we still got 6 weeks before that, before he gets back to camp. There's a lot of time for him to do, a lot of time for him to study, so yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be real fun, but just the types of questions they ask. There's no wrong questions. It's just, you would say, I hope that he would have an understanding on this level question, and I wish his level of question was up here, as opposed to, I wish it was up here at this point. And if it is, good. If it's beyond, it's even better. But you have you have a kind of an idea. Okay, by this date, I'd like for him to be right around here. For this date, I'm kind of want to be right around here. And nothing's finite. Nothing's finite, because learning isn't finite. It might just boom, and then all of a sudden you get it. You know what I mean? So it's not. Again, it's not just a right or wrong question. It's his understanding of the offense is going to tell us exactly where he's at and what we need to cut back on and what we need to pour on.
Coach, I want to highlight something Barlissimo said, but I'm going to reword it kind of, because this is very true. Sometimes a player can go out there and then go over to the sidelines and have an observation maybe even the coach didn't even think about or wasn't paying attention to. So, we're just talking about the teachable moments, and I know he's going to have a whole bunch of them, and how he grows from it, how receptive he is to the coaching, and knowing that, when he hears that whistle blow, oh shit, they stopping me again. I just want to flow. He's got to understand that every time they blow that whistle and pull him to the side, they're going to give him something that he needs for the most part. I'll just stop there, man, because I'll just let you fill in what Barlissimo said there.
No, I totally get the point of what he's saying. Also, understanding how Caleb learns, right? We all learn differently, right? And how that relationship works out between him and Shane, how he learns, how he sees things. Also, keep in mind these football players, they ain't played ball in a vacuum, right? They always have a reference point from what they've done before. So the thing that I was going to bring up that I thought was encouraging was the fact that at one point, I think during the press conference, they brought up, and he texted somebody and asked him, why are we blocking this way?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, you know what I'm saying? Goosebump moment for a coach right there, especially an O-line coach, former O-line coach. I would get goosebumps. If you got your quarterback texting you to ask you, why are we blocking things this way? Not, you know what I'm saying, what do we do?
Wasn't this before OTAs, coach? Wasn't this before
OTAs?
Wasn't that before OTAs? He was already at that phase?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly when it happened, but again, excitement that it's actually happening. Why are we? Because again, I'm going back to what I said about the reference point. The reference point sometimes with players is, particularly I imagine with these players, is it's a translation, right? Why are we? I'll use this example. Why are we blocking it this way? Because at USC we blocked it this way, right? I'll give an example of the scat protection 3x2, right? Why are we going 3x2 when at USC we did whole man slide, right? We did whole line slide left or one way or the other. And we just sent the running back to the backside. Well, this is the NFL. You know what I'm saying? A running back versus a defensive end in the NFL is different than a running back versus a defensive end in college. Whatever explanation they're giving, but I'm glad he's asking that question. You know what I'm saying? I would imagine it's very odd. You know what I'm saying? It's different to me to hear people ask O-line questions. You know what I'm saying? Versus, what is this concept? What is route concept? A route combination of this, that, and that. If you're asking about protection adjustments right now, that's exciting to me. Maybe just coaching nerd stuff, but I'm excited about it. It makes me feel like somebody's doing something right in the building. And you know what I'm saying? And he's focusing on the right things. Again, getting the play call out, getting the protection, getting everything protected up and blocked up so I can go through my progressions and run the actual play later on. That stuff is gonna happen, right? But I need to take care of these things first, because if I don't take care of these things, I can't even get to that. So yeah, I like that part. I like what I'm hearing. I absolutely like what Burleson was saying about the questions, right? Because that communication, and it also speaks to the relationship between him and the coordinator. Like, because a lot of times players, coaches, they don't want to be wrong, right? So they won't even ask questions, right? They don't want to seem like I don't want to look like I know what I'm doing. Like the egos in those buildings is crazy, right? So I don't want to look like I know what I'm talking about. No, if you really want to learn, you ain't gonna care about how you look. I don't know this, so you explain to me, right? Now, if we get to week 16, you know what I'm saying, and you were at install day one questions, then it's a different situation.
You know what, guys? The chemistry between Coach T, Kids, and Sean and I, man, is so damn organic. I don't know why the hell we on simulcast both Chicago Bears 360 and Nomad Live together every damn time, man. I'm telling you, man, this is great content, man. This wasn't entertainment purposes today, fellas. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, this was all informative stuff that these guys are giving you. They are giving you really, really good details, man. You talking about the coachables, man, and some of those teaching moments that he's gonna have out there. Like I wouldn't rush to go see that first public practice. I wouldn't lie to you, man, because I know what that's gonna probably look like unless they got light years ahead on these vacations together, whatever they're doing. It's gonna look probably rough, man. There's gonna be a lot of whistles. It's gonna be a lot of running to the sidelines or the coach running out to him. So it's the teachable moments I would look forward to seeing. But if I was just your average fan, I wouldn't want to see that practice. How about you, Sean?
I think a little different. I would love to see it, just because I know Caleb is in this offense. In particular, Caleb, I know he's going to want to show out, and by that I mean he's going to show his veterans and show the team that he's a leader. that he has a good grasp of this offense. That so he doesn't want to come out and say, okay, well, let's and have everybody learn. As a quarterback, as a leader, you want to make sure that you have the grasp of it the best, because you need to be. All right. In the big scheme of things, you need to be. So I think he wants to understand, he wants to be able to grasp it a lot sooner than everybody else, so he can help basically start coaching. Say, hey, no, I need you over here. Slide out. No, come on, no, on that one, no, I want you here. On this one, when you start seeing him doing that, so if he's able to do that at an early part of training camp, you'll understand that he was in that playbook a hell of a lot over these past 6 weeks. So yeah, I would love to see that, because if he comes out there, remember we talked about this before, Nomad. They've had access to the playbook. They knew they were drafting him. All right, so they didn't. Shane Waldron didn't give it to him, but Shane and his coach are really good friends. You don't think that he was putting a lot of things in at that particular point before they was drafted? If you don't, you're crazy. All right, so a lot of the things that happened in OTAs, okay, would have been happening in training camp, but everything's pushed up now. Everything's pushed up because of his early exposure to this playbook, from cadence to formations to personnel sets to all these different things. So now that he's had it prior to being drafted, gone through rookie minicamp, gone through voluntary OTAs, gone through mandatory OTAs, gone through more OTAs after the veterans left. Now he's got 6 more weeks. Yeah, I would love to see how that comes out. And if he comes out, because if he comes out, and again, the average fan might not understand it, might not get it, might not see it. But football coaches and those with the high football IQ, you'll see it like, oh wow, he moved this guy, right before the snap. Like, no, he moved that guy, he moved this guy. That's what I'm looking. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays out.
Okay, kids, let's get to a personal level on this offensive line. And to me, I think I know I don't think anything.
Question, man.
Go ahead. What's that?
I said I wanted some of that question.
Go ahead and get it, man. It's all you.
That was a great question. Like, do you want to show up? Do you want to see the process? My bad, kids. I can't let that slide. Yes.
Oh, good, bro. I'll get to it. You go.
Absolutely. Yes. I want to see the ugly, right? I want to see the ugly, because this is the part. I not only want to see the ugly part of it, but want to report on it, because this is the part that see. Listen, for the fans that haven't played football in a long time and forget what it was like to be part of a team, part of being in that locker room, part of the week's cadence to build up to a game. The cool part about football, at least for me as a coach, was not necessarily the game day. Game day is game day. But what builds the bond is the process that happens leading up to the first game of the season, and then how that little cadence happens. That cadence goes in the season where it's game day. You play a game, win or lose, it doesn't matter. You can't like dwell on it. You got to get to the film. You got to get better. Like, how the season happens, and it happens so fast because game day's here. The day after game day, you're watching film for the next film, and that whole cadence. So going back to camp, absolutely, I want to be there, because as Sean mentioned, you know what I'm saying, when you watch so much film, you can pick up on things. I can have a period where I watch the O-line and I can say, this is where they are. I can see the O-line doing this and doing that, and they're ahead on this, that, and the other, and they got it down. They seem to be moving as a group, whatever. Or you can look at Caleb coming out of huddle, and you can watch the whole players. You can watch all the players and see if people are running out of the huddle with confidence, running to their spots, knowing where they're going based off of the call. And then you can see what actually Shane is trying to do with the offense, right? Conceptually, right? With some of the plays that he's calling, things that he's running, concepts he's running, route combinations. Is it quick game? Is it explosive? Is it a play action? The run game, I can see what conceptually he's trying to do in the run game. Is he going inside, mid zone, outside zone? Is he throwing in a lot of power concepts, right? Power plays, counter plays. What is he trying to do? All that is critical information, regardless of where they are right now, the end goal, the product. The process is the cool part of it, which is why I'm so excited about Hard Knocks, because, and I watch the show every year, regardless, you know, even if the Bears aren't going, because you love, as a coach, you love the process, you love the behind the scenes, like interaction with the locker room, but you understand different things. I'm telling you, there's going to be so much content I grab out of Hard Knocks, because you know what's going on right here. They may have be having a discussion about something that a casual fan or somebody that's just not into the nuances of detail about something. Hey, you did this over here. We need to do this, blah, blah, blah. And you can pull nuggets out of that and report back. So yeah, man, this is the exciting time. This is the part. This is, if I had one wish for fans would get more involved in or fall in love with the process of how you get there versus, yeah, the product is going to be the product, right? But understanding the why and how we got to, we lost this game because of this. I think a lot more fans would be a lot less upset if they understood kind of the process and how we got here. We just don't have that right now, for example.
Coach, this is the problem, and this is the problem that I have with media, and this is where people like you and I and other people and Nomad and we need reporters. We have to write about this stuff.
Yeah.
Right. We got to write about this stuff, and we got to do pieces on it. Because you can say because the way you frame something, you can sit there and say, "Oh man, it's raining outside." Okay. Oh damn, it is coming down.
I like
it's still
that.
raining outside. Two different descriptions. Okay.
Yeah.
One leads you a certain way, another one leads you another completely different way. And so the problem is so for example, when Caleb had the bad interception day, that one day, right? And everyone was Chicken Little, the sky is falling. Some people wanted to cut him, some people wanted to bury him under the jail, like oh, he had a tough day against, say, hey, today was it's all how you present it. Say, hey, you know what, today, kid, these are the days that we're looking for, that we're anxious to see, where Caleb had a rough day against the defense. We're looking for him to improve from this. He should struggle against this team because it is a top 5, probably the back 7, probably a top 2 or top 2 back 7, and it might not even be number 2, back 7 in the league. Okay, so these are the things you want to see. If don't worry, these are things that are good for him to understand, as opposed to, oh, he got picked off by this and this. You know what I mean? Just because giving information, and how our fan base is, everything is exaggerated. But if you give it to them like that, now it's not so much, oh, Caleb is this, and or not just Caleb, but just anything in particular. It's how the information is disseminated, and when you and again, it's for clicks and likes and all this other stuff. But people will do that and get the fan base going crazy. All right, but if you teach them, say, hey, listen, this is what we expect. This is what you should expect, because if he didn't have a day like this and he picks apart this defense, what is that saying about our defense?
Let me double down on where you're at, Sean. If the media doesn't, and we watched the Bears sort of bring along a bunch of quarterbacks over time. If traditionally the media generally doesn't tell us about the bad days, right? A lot of the time they kind of gloss over the bad days and go right into, oh, like he's the next Superman. At least they're telling us that he's struggling. And what does that mean? That means that there's room for him to grow in his upward trajectory, right? Like he's moving in a direction. He's fighting against, again, as you stated, one of the top secondaries in the league. And if he figures out how to crack the code and beat them on a regular basis, NFL. Right, like,
yeah, and that's why we got a shameless plug right here for, I know where Sean was going with that and why he was going with that. So I'm just going to ride the wave that he already created, right? That's why you need people like us applying for credentials and getting in the building, because there has to be a separator of content creators and provide perspective, right? And the whole thing is not to be, and this is how it comes across to fans, especially on X, right? Because you're saying, like, any mention of reality as it pertains to the cadence that I've mentioned over the last 2 3 or 4 weeks or 4 or 5 weeks, right? And it was like, hey, you know, air raid is different than what he's doing now. And I expected to see some stuff in the air quotes cadence. I expected this. I said this. And this is why I said Jaden Daniels was the most ready quarterback. Now you understand, your emotions won't allow you to hear why I'm reporting this way and saying he's the most NFL ready quarterback, because when Jaden heard a play at LSU, Jaden's play sounded like how I described an NFL play sounding earlier. Jaden heard personnel, cadence, personnel, formation, right? Moving people around, wide off, far over, this, that, and the other. Jaden heard all that before, so now you show up in the NFL and you have to do it. They're like, oh yeah, well, it's the same thing, but we just call this, that, and the other. He's used to that already. He's already found his voice and inflection and communicating and reciting plays and all that other stuff. So it's not to down Cadence, it's to give you a thumbnail or give you an indicator as to where he is in the process, because it's not Madden. It's not Madden. You just don't go out there and pick a play and run it. It's a process. And there's play design, there's install, there's game planning, there's play calling, and he has to go through. So if we go out there and we say, hey, Sean and I go out there together and say, hey, let's compare notes. Oh yeah, this is what I saw. This is what you saw. Okay, boom. We come back to the show and we say it. It's not, oh, we hate on Caleb or anything like that. We're giving you the real. But what do you want? You want, you know what I'm saying? Again, you want the type of content creation that's going to just give it with rose-colored glasses. He's perfect. He walks on water. He fed 5,000 with 2 fish and 5 loaves a day. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you want? Or do you want?
Well, I'm hungry.
Well, hold on, guys. Let me get a quick plug in for everybody, man. If you appreciate this very informative content right now, it's educational today, man, because that's what we intended for it to be. If you can appreciate what was just given and provided for you today, please make sure you subscribe to the Nomad Network on the YouTube channel, and also Sean Sierra's network, Sports Zone Chicago. Subscribe to his YouTube channel, and definitely Coach T over on Chicago Bears 360, man. If you appreciate what was brought to you today, you know, and showing you the difference between, you know, certain things to pay attention to and not so much. If you appreciate that kind of thing and getting those kinds of details, you know, because nobody really wants to know how many times you have to practice, you know, a pro right, halfback, off tackle left. You know what I mean? You know, to sit there and have to watch that and practice and experience it in real time is two different things. I can imagine being somebody sitting in the bleachers and like, hey, man, it's been a whole hour. They run that motherfucker 25 times. You know what I mean? But in order to get it where you want it to the point where you can eat that sausage with the sauerkraut and the mustard on it or whatever you put on it, you got to go through that process. And that's what these guys are trying to tell you. You know, or see that.
Or Nomad, I always love this moment, because this recent moment was the closest I've been to a practice in a long time. Right, we're at the Senior Bowl. I'm sitting next to Nick Moreno, and they're going through practice, and I'm like, I missed that. And he was like, what are you talking about? And I said, I missed the process, right? I missed the part where there's a part during Senior Bowl practice. I don't remember if it was afternoon or morning practice, but you can see all the coaches had the practice script, right? So the process, when I talk about the process, part of the part I love is, as an offensive coordinator, you hand all your position coaches a practice script for that day, right? You got the practice schedule, and somewhere maybe you'll have play script, right, for a certain period, right? So say during the course, say I watch film on day one. I watch film on day one, and me and the coaches came up with about, now you're only going to run about, I'm just saying, using this as an example, I'm only going to run about 35 plays on game day. But how do you get to those 35 plays? On day one of watching film, me and the coaches came up with, I'm just using hypothetical numbers, We came up with 15 formation and 50 plays potentially that we could run, right, against this week's opponent, right? And on day one or incrementally throughout the week, I create a practice script to practice these plays versus certain looks against the defense throughout the week. So I give all the coaches the script, and we're going through practice and we're on play one. We're running the script versus the defense. And the coach, the offensive coordinator, you get one crack at this. I don't have all day. I don't have a 5-hour practice, right? I get 20 plays, and I have to play. Hey, coach, we on play one. Defense, scout defense better be lined up. All the coaches better. Everybody knows we're running the same. Oh, play one, boom, run it. Did it work? Nope, scratch it off. Play. We go down the list, all 20 plays. And guess what?
Forget, coach, real quick. Don't forget, defensive coaches have the script where that, all right, in play one, I need you in this defense, and play two, I need you in this defense, and play three, I need you in this defense. So the offense, you're running a specific play for a specific defense each time. You're showing,
Sean is exactly right. You're showing the offense, the opponent's defensive looks, and you just want to know if this play is going to work versus that look. And you're going down the script and you're scratching off one. Play one work, yep, check. Two, nope, scratch it. So those 20 plays I started out to practice with, I came out only 50% of those plays work. I'm not running it 30 times. I'm not running it to you. We're gonna force it to work. We're not forcing nothing to work. Either it worked or it didn't. I'm gonna scratch it, and I gotta move on to Tuesday's practice, because guess what? I got another 20 plays. And by Wednesday in high school football, by Wednesday, you're done. You got your 30 plays, Thursday's walkthrough, Friday's game night. But the process, right, going through that and figuring it out, I just described for you how you come up with your call sheet, if y'all didn't pick up on it. That's how you come up with your call sheet, right? You scratch off plays versus certain looks, and that whole process, right? And that's the part that we want fans to understand better, understand the nuance, understand how they get there. So people might ask, why did you cook Luke Getsy so bad last year over the last 2 years? Because in a lesser fashion, I've been in that seat, and I know certain things you're not supposed to get the game day, and certain things are supposed to be happening. Like, how did you get the game day and that happened? You know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
Well, you know what? I did not. This show went so organically well. I'm so glad that I reached out to Coach T, and I apologize, bro, for the last minute invite.
No,
but I thought about it overnight, and it was too late when I was thinking about it. It was like 3 a.m. I wasn't gonna send you nothing. But when I got up, I was just like, all right, let me reach out to him, and hopefully between him, Sean, and kids, we'll be able to kind of peel it back a layer, so people can see, exactly what this kid is going to have to be dealing with. And I'm worried about Caleb, but I'm also worried about the O-line. I wanted to get into the players individually, but this went so well that we can talk about it on the surface, in a general sense for a conversation, and see, what do you think we are as far as this offensive line? Do you guys think Ryan Poles, I'll start with you, kids. Do you think Ryan Poles made the right moves in the offseason, or no? Do you feel good about this offensive line on the general, be able to keep this kid clean?
Honestly, I have no idea. I have no clue. I'm going to start with the center position and say that I thought Lucas Patrick played well last season. Unfortunately, he was too injured to play as frequently as needed, which just threw that position into flux. Jumping around the line. I don't know if Larry Borum's going to be here simply due to his price tag, not playability, price tag. And then we get into guys like Nate Davis deciding not to show up and practice on a regular basis. He's doing his own Nate Davis thing, and that's the words we got back from Mike Vrabel, right? This guy don't like the practice, so it's okay if you got him. Oh. And this is year number 2, and we're still yet to really actually see any practicing activity there. Then we get into a guy like Shelton or Bates and how they're going to perform in that center position. There's so many questions here Mind you, to flip it away from the questions, there's also strengths. Tevin Jenkins is a strength. Darnell Wright is a strength. Amagaji could well be a strength. Braxton Jones could show up again stronger and more stout than he was last season. So there's a lot for us. A lot of things are in flux on that offensive line, and it's yet to be proven. I kind of just want to see where they are with it. But once more, it would be great. All of those things would be that much greater if Nate Davis actually was working with the rest of the guys. Like, let me take a step back on the Nate Davis thing and say, like, these guys are practicing without pads, etc. right now. So it's like not the end of the world, but I still think it would show a heck of a lot more by way of cohesion of the offensive line if he was practicing. Anyways, that's where I'm at.
Go ahead, Coach. What say you about how you feel about them having the ability to keep the kid clean? He's a rookie.
Yeah, I want to stay consistent, right, with my offseason take, right? Because the whole reason, one of the reasons why I was so confident, inaccurately confident that we would keep Justin Fields was because C-Mo was sticking around and Coach Dre was sticking around. And again, understanding process and understanding how these things work. Usually your O-line coach has an interior O-line, center guards, and your tight ends coach get tackles and tight ends. And through various periods, indie periods, they work together that way, right? So Dre would probably have the tackles and tight ends, and C-Mo would have guards and tackles. Outside of the DBs, name a group that probably, from top to bottom, cohesion-wise, that should be more cohesive than its offensive line, minus the center position. The calls shouldn't change, right? The calls shouldn't change from season to season. So, Caleb, from a call perspective, from the O-line, he should be stepping into a ready-made situation. This is what we call this. Boom. And as far as they're concerned, the 5 guys up front and the reserves, everybody knows what rain or lightning or roar or lion or check or whatever the calls are. Everybody knows what that is. So they're getting very little grace from me. They're getting very little. Y'all have the same coach. Y'all have the same coaches. Y'all pretty much have the same players. And supposedly we upgraded at center. So there's no grace.
You're break on getting the verbiage down. Still gonna hold it? No break.
No, no grace, bro. They should be on it day one. Day one. The only guys are coming in and learning something new are the centers. Everybody else has been there. So they should have hit camp on fire. They should have walked in the building as the most confident group, second to only the DBs group. They should have walked in the building the most confident group in the building, pulled those centers in and said, hey, bro, this is what we call this. This is what we call that. Let's go ball. Boom, just like that. Now, the personnel choices from the GM is a whole nother conversation. There's a whole nother conversation because could he have gone out and got a bigger name center or drafted a center, right? Nobody wants to have this conversation because we're so excited about Caleb and the Doomsday, but rightfully so. But I'm still looking at Ryan Poles with a side eye because what was the tackle position draft for? Like you drafted a swing tackle? Like we didn't need something else right there? I'm just saying.
I'm thinking more about
the
veteran swing tackle. I'm thinking about more the competition who's going to bring in. Who's there to push Braxton to his limit? I don't see that guy yet.
That's what I'm saying. So you draft a backup swing tackle who's injured. Why did that get a pass? See where they should be at as a group. Where they should be out as a group, right? I have expectations way up, but the personnel decisions from the GM is a separate conversation. You brought in, like I said, guys that you feel confident in that I don't know if C-Mo liked them and SEMO scouted them and said, these are perfect for what I want to do, and you went with that. This is one thing I'll say, and I've said this repeatedly on my show. Ryan, SEMO, and Ian are, I don't know if it's because they play offensive line, but they seem to be more confident than any of the other 31 teams in the NFL in their ability to scout offensive line talent. Because outside of Darnell, what have they done?
That's it. I'm gonna just go past Deshaun and not say another damn word. Go ahead, Sean.
Well, they do. They the Darnell Wright. They got a Braxton Jones, who I think we can all agree that was a big improvement from year 1 to year 2. And so you found him. You didn't get Tevin. You didn't. You brought in Nate. So I think they can scout, but not. But for me, man mentioned at the beginning of the show, Nate, you guys got to be there, dog. All right. I know you're only in
Let me ask you a question, Sean. Does Nate have something in his contract? Because
no, it was well, he was there, but he didn't participate. And involuntary, during voluntary, he wasn't there. My thing is this, dude. They just gave you $10 million a year for 3. All right. I understand your situation last year with moms. I get it. That's cool. You know what? My condolences and the loss of your mom last year, and I get it completely. All right, I get it. But damn, dog. And then you you know what I mean? Then you're out for a little bit. I need you to show me as my teammate, all right, that you're all in. And that means being here with you.
That's why I asked this question, Sean, because it's obvious. And what Nate is doing contradicts the message of the head coach and everything he's saying to the rest of the team.
It's the opposite of his principle. You're so right. It is exactly.
And real to do this, and you knew this. This was his MO, his MO, where he came from. This is not he's just starting this. This was his MO.
Tennessee reporters used to be. I'm telling you, I used to check him out before he came over here, and I'm telling you, they used to be up in arms. You know how reporters can be when they don't see a guy where he's supposed to be. You know what I mean? Doing practices. My thing is this, man. I think that the O-line is going to need every rep they can get in preseason, just as much as Caleb needs every rep that he can get in preseason. Just safe reps. You don't want to play him too much, but all the reps you can get him. I think the O-line and Nate Davis, the only time I'm going to start getting worried is if he's opting out of, getting those reps in preseason. I'm going to have a problem with that. All the stuff, you guys are right. They set a certain kind of standard that, we expect people to be here and participate the whole 9 yards. But I'm not as worried as you guys are. I'm going to get worried if he's not out there getting those live in-game reps in the preseason or, when they do practice scrimmages. I don't know who the hell they got set to scrimmage against this year, but if he's not out there getting those live game reps with the starting online and with Caleb, then I start worrying. I cut you off, Sean. I apologize. I know you want to probably beat Nate Davis with your purse or something.
No, I like my purse, my man purse. But I think the offensive line is going to be good. I think as long as the center position is solid, and I think the guards are going to be good as long as Nate Davis is there. Because we know what Tevin does. I mean, obviously, health being his biggest. That's his number one opponent. And I told you, I'm like, you know what, Nate Davis, bump you. All right, Tevin, you're going to the right side. You, Darnell Wright, are mauling side. End of God blessed story. All right, Nate, you're going to play left guard. Well, guess what? We're giving you $10 million. You're going to play. All right. If not, we got Tyree Carter who wants to play. We got some other young men who want to play. We got Cortland Shelton. There's people we could put at left guard. But give me one side where I know it's 3rd and 1. All right. It's 3rd and 1. It's 4th and 1. I'm not doing this quarterback tush push. I'm not doing the tight end tush push. I'm not throwing little stupid flanker screens out there. No. You know exactly where the hell we're running. All right, stop it if you can. And this is the type of mentality that I want. This is the type of mentality that Chicago loves and feasts off of. This is in our DNA, running the ball and defense, especially on short yardage situations. We need 1, we're getting 2. We need 3, we're getting 4. So, but I do think that this offensive line is okay, is going to be able to keep Caleb upright. I do.
They got him. They gotta be.
We know Darnell Wright, all right? Tevin Jenkins, we've seen that. Braxton Jones, we saw that as well. Okay, so now we just got to see a consistent Nate Davis and a center. But we're getting a starting center from the Rams last year. All right, I am confident as training camp progresses, they're going to get that chemistry that an offensive line needs. I think when it's all said and done, I think it's going to be a good offensive line for Caleb to be behind, especially because they're going to run the hell out of the ball. Especially because they're going to run the hell out of the ball. That's going to make this offensive line a much better pass pro and offensive line.
Man, I wish I was confident in Sean. I know that's the right thing to do, to run the hell out of the ball and use these guys as battering rams. And I got crosshairs on the offensive line coach. The coach is the offensive line. The offensive coordinator to make sure he runs the ball. Like, we got to do it, bro. We got to bludgeon teams to death early on.
I don't think that's a question that we're going to need to do that. I don't think there's a question Flus is going to demand that. That's going to be that's really the best way. We're talking about the O-line and if we're able to keep this kid clean. This is the best emergency break the glass and make sure that happens. Is you just do what Coach said, man, pound the dog snot out of him. You know what I mean? And take your time, cut the field in half if you need to, move him out of the pocket, whatever you need to do to keep this kid clean and not take hits and not have to sit there and make too many decisions with too many options. But that's the way you bring along a rookie quarterback with the offensive line that's trying to get used to him. I'm like Coach T. My question, I only really have one question. And that's, can Braxton hold up to a bull rush in pass pro when they need him to? That was his Achilles heel. Is he strong enough? I've never seen anybody get that kind of strength in a couple of off seasons. I see you kids. I know you're ready to say something, but that's my question until he proves me wrong. That's the only question I have about the O-line, other than making sure they get continuity, get as many preseason snaps as possible with the kid. Other than that, it's just Braxton making sure that he can hold up and pass pro when they need him to.
I don't expect him to take a step back, but I think Karan, if it's a situation where you're up against a defense who has somebody who's got a strong rush, right, a strong power rush, you could swap in Karan. It just might be that situation where you swap the guy in. I think that additional level of depth there, I think it's a great move for us to pick somebody like him up. And two things I also want to add in there. First one being Nate Davis's contract. I think Nate, there's no way they're getting out of anything here. They got $12 million that they're locked into for Nate. They can't cut him for anything. That's a dead cap hit. So either he plays well, or he rides the bench and they let somebody else do it, and he makes his $12 million regardless. Cutting him would hurt.
You see what Barrelissimo was saying. Barrelissimo was saying you can't swap in tackles. You need
you don't want to. Ideally, you don't want to.
It's going to be a hard stop. Get your ass out. We putting this one in. If that happens, man, that's what it's going to be.
What was his injury? What did he just have surgery for? Karan.
He had, I think that was a ham or something he had going on, torn ham or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, just expecting the kid to come in. Like, I graded. A lot of people are high on the kid. You know what I'm saying? Berlissimo gave me pause for cause with the O-line and calling some of this stuff out, because he's more confident than I am in it. So I let it settle on his word. I let it settle on me. But it's still a key group for me, right? Because listen, we let's just call it what it is. We cannot come into this season and not run the ball effectively, right? So if they fail at that, then early on, this turns into a shit show. Part of defensive strategy should be coming into the game. I'm going to get Chicago in the 3rd and long. I'm going to get them in the 3rd and long and force the kid to play quarterback probably earlier than what he's ready to do. And I'm talking about 3rd and 8 and better, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8 and better. And if I can do that at a great clip, then I like my chances of winning the game. Right? So if they come out, so y'all said something about going to training camp, right? One of the signs I want to see, and I know they don't want to mix it up too big at training camp, but also I'll mention this. I haven't heard in the last couple of years, this is another thing I'll probably be looking at for Hard Knocks. We haven't really mixed it up in camp and established physicality as part of DNA of football.
Yeah, I don't know. Coaches, they're not like that. It's too stop it. It's, you know what I mean? Like, let these mugs get at it. Let these mugs get at it. You know what the coaches said? Take a nice slow walk when you go over there to try to break it up. Take a nice little slow walk. Let them get in it. Let them get in a little bit.
How about the joint practices, Sean? Let them mix it up. Let them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I want to establish physicality. I want to make sure my guys are tough. Like they understand the brand of ball that we gonna play is gonna be punch you in the mouth before we start getting all the cute stuff.
Oh, you know what, man? I'm glad you brought this up, man, because I listened to those pressers, man, and I'm, I take notes most of the time, man, and some stuff I don't need a note for. And when I heard Flus discuss this very topic that we're talking about, he sounded pretty clear to me that that's exactly what he intended on doing. Getting those guys to, toughen up those muscles, man, get them, battle ready. You know what I'm saying? Because I do think they took it easy on them in camp that last year. Because the first year, I think Flus came in with his hair on fire, and all these guys ended up on the IR. You remember that first season he came in? And all these dudes were missing practices, and the press was asking him, "Are you being a little bit too tough on these guys? Are you pushing it a little too much?" And he had to answer all those questions. And the very next year, which is last year, he kind of lightened up. And I think one person comes to mind when I talk about this, and that's Tremaine Edmonds. I know he had injuries throughout camp, and he pretty much missed the latter end of camp. And, we paid a bunch of money for this cat, man. And he came in, and, I know when somebody's out of shape. I mean, somebody can look like a Greek god physically, but I know the cardio. The cardio ain't there and ain't there. And you can look in somebody's eyes, and the eyes are big, and he's sucking wind. He's got his hands on his hips all the time. He's not in shape. And that's what happened with Tremaine Edmonds. I don't think he pushed him hard enough in camp, and I think they paid for it at the very beginning of the season. Guys were just in better shape than the Bears, plain out simple. And so, the toughness factor what coaches talking about, that's also important. I want my guys battle ready, and they do that to each other in the training camp. Beat on each other until you can't beat on each other no more, and then you can't wait for that inter practice scrimmage with another team so you can beat up on somebody else. But that's a great point, Coach, and I'm glad you brought it up.
I don't know why they've really gotten really, really soft, because it was okay to beat up on your players. All right. It was okay. All right. To challenge your teammates. It was okay, because you know what happens is that's how you build confidence. Because if me and you are going at it, and I'm one of the best offensive linemen in the game, or I'm one of the best defensive linemen in the game, or I'm one of the best linebackers in the game, or I'm one of the best wide receivers, guess what? I'm going to show you, I'm going to do everything I can to beat you, because one, I'm a competitor. Because right now it's me versus you. It's not Chicago Bears. It's offense, defense, me versus you. But if you start giving me fits and you start handling me, or now all of a sudden I'm not beating you, guess what that means? That means you're getting better. So I know that when I'm on the sideline getting a blow, I ain't got to worry about this wide receiver dogging you. I got to worry about this offensive tackle, all right, locking you up like you stole something. I ain't worried about this defensive tackle beating you like you stole something because of the work that we put in together. And it doesn't seem like the physicality is not just there. It doesn't seem like it's welcome. It doesn't seem like they want it. It doesn't seem like that. Like I really, man, I want that. I want Montez Sweat on his ass a couple times because Darnell Wright just pancaked him. all right, or he got chipped by a tight end and he lost his balance. He got tossed a little bit, and now Darnell Wright threw his ass through the ground. This is what I want. Darnell and Montez Sweat. I got you. Bet. You know what I mean? Those are the type of things that I want, and it seems to be, like I said, not even encouraged, not even wanted, and that's the problem that I have, because this is not a contact sport, man. This is a collision sport, and you gotta draw some demons, man, to get it, and you gotta learn how to you gotta get there, and you not to allow your teammates to get there. Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing that bugs me. That's what bugs me.
Last question. I don't even think this is a question. This is a statement, and this just comes from experience.
Hey, James Joseph says he want to make sure we get these players out here stretching. I just want to make sure.
I'm like, where's all this stretching shit coming from?
You gotta stretch. Don't let these guys.
Gotta limber up, man. Gotta limber up.
So, fellas, you guys know, man. You guys know that your average viewer or average fan would probably think that the game is all the work. No, nope. The game is the fun part. When you're right, all the work happens in practice. By the time game gets there, it's just like a release of tension, and you pissed off for how bad the coach worked you. You know what I mean? The game is fun. So I want to see the Bears get to that level where they're not working out kinks during the game. They're working all that stuff out during the practice week and getting it all orderly and in shape. By the time they hit that field, they're flying around having fun. That's the goal. And so when you see, I don't know how fast they're going to get to that point. We hope game one, because if you guys watch that Greg Gabriel show, when I asked him, do these guys have a realistic chance of making a playoff push? He didn't really hesitate. He's like, yeah. He said, but, and I'm going to paraphrase what he said. You got to get off to a fast start. You can't get out here and go, 1-3. You can't go out here and go 0-4. You got to at least get to 50-50, 2-2, or come out 3-1, and they give themselves a legitimate chance of making a push down the road. So anybody agree with that or disagree with that? Go right ahead.
Can't disagree with that. You got to jump out the gate, and I think you really want to leverage the 1-2 punch of Khalil Herbert and DeAndre Swift. I think that's really what you want to do. Just leverage that, turn that into a thing, and defense and run the ball. And hopefully, while that's working, a burgeoning passing offense appears, right? Like that's what I'm hoping for. And if that's how it works, it might take a couple of games to get that thing ironed out. And then you got yourself a performing offense, defense, passing game, running game. Again, hopefully it doesn't take too long to get there. That's all. What do you guys think?
Coach?
No, I like it, man. I like Greg's outlook on it. Again, we said it ad nauseum. They got to come out running the ball and playing great. The defense, again, another group. No grace. Defense and the defensive coordinator. No grace. The offensive line defense get no grace from me. I'm going to be on their ass. Pause, no diddy. Day one. Game one. I'm hammering them. No overreaction. No reaction is an overreaction when it comes to the O-line and the defense and how they block up front, especially in the run game, and then in the defense, how they play, the play calls, all that other stuff. No grace for Flus on the dropping D lineman in the coverage and all that other stuff. Day one, he has to be hitting, or else you can't get to that 6-0 that Burley's was mentioning right there. There's no room of error right there. They definitely got to. Only people that can come out, the only person that gets grace this season is number 18. He's the only person.
Oh, go ahead.
We talked about, and I don't know if we still have the schedule that I created.
I'm about to grab it right quick. Go
ahead. Yeah, starting off, it starts off week 1. All right, you're already going to face Houston in the preseason. All right, tough team, not obviously, but you start out. Then you get Tennessee. You got Tennessee week 1. We can't lose to Tennessee. All right, you're talking all this good stuff, all this improvement. We got the new members of the offensive line, new weapons on offense. All right, we got to come out 1-0. We got to come out 1-0. I told you, if you remember looking at the schedule, the first 10 weeks, the first 9 games, there's a bye in there. Man, we need to be the worst. We need to be is 6-3. The worst. I'm having a very difficult time finding a third loss in there. I'll say, okay, Texans maybe, and then maybe LA or maybe the Jaguars because the travel. That's the London game. But I'm really having a difficult time finding a third loss. You come out there, all right. Now we're in good position. You can't win the division first week of the season, first couple weeks of the season, but you damn sure as hell can lose it. You start off on an 0-2, 0-3, or 1-5 start, man. And then you ain't even played the division yet. So it's imperative that they get off to a fast start. Week 1, you got to dog walk these Tennessee Titans. All right, dog walk. Go into Houston with a lot of confidence. Man, they are there. Like I said, I think it looks like a 7-2 first 9 games. 7-2 looks good. No, see, Donnie talking all that icky-ish. No one's saying who said they're taking him lightly. No one said anything about taking him lightly. Clean out your ears. I said we got to come out and knock the dog snout out of them. I don't care how good they are.
You can't take one team in the NFL lightly. I agree with that, man. Not a one team is a cakewalk. Not one. I don't care how bad you think they are.
Yeah. So we have a really good shot. Now, how will they progress? Put it this way. All you ask for in football, hell, in life, is an opportunity. You have an opportunity week 1 to go 1-0. All right. You got the Tennessee Titans, and you're at home. You're at home on the lakefront. You have that opportunity, and we cannot squander that opportunity. And I'm not saying we can't make the playoffs if we lose week 1. What I'm saying is it's going to make it a lot easier. The confidence that this team is going to have if they can not just beat Tennessee, but literally dog walk them and manhandle them is going to go through the roof. And that's going to be huge. We got to go face a playoff team the following week on the road in that hot and humid ass Texas down by the Gulf. So, good. Much better display. Thank you. But man, we do have to get off to a fast start. And I also did say there equality. I mean, they got to go to 10. I said they got to get 10 wins, man. 10 wins. All these changes. But Coach Flus, now it's on you. Shoot, San Francisco, where's everybody? Second to none. San Fran, where's everybody?
Hey, it's coming fast. It's coming fast, Coach T, man. I do believe Greg was right, man. I think they got to get off to a fast start. How they do it, it's probably going to be some grounding and pounding to do it. I think it's going to be defensive-led victories, man, in order for them to do it. I said at the very beginning, the defense would have to carry them at least the first 6 games. And this was me giving consideration to Caleb, the offensive line, getting the continuity with the receivers, the whole 9 yards with the new offensive install. So that's just the way I see it playing out. I think it's going to be defensive-led, and I think it's going to have to be a ball-controlled game in order for them to do it.
Coach, when do you think they're going to take the training wheels off? Keep in mind the early exposure to this offense. When do you think at least one training wheel? You know, sometimes you would take off the one training wheel on a bike and it's only
what's the schedule again, Nomad? I've been saying this whole time. I've been saying this whole time, like week 12 to 14, before they like open it up. But then again, if opportunity presents itself with an opponent, which it doesn't really, I don't think they have an opponent that they can just be like, oh yeah, we're gonna open it up. Maybe week 5 at Carolina. They can.
I say week 5, you got and then late right after the bye, you got Washington, Arizona, and New England. I think the wheels come off.
You can try some stuff versus Carolina in the passing game to get Caleb some experience. But if I'm doing that, I'm only going to do a quarter. I'm like, hey, we're going to come out. We're going to take the ball. We're going to come out first quarter only. We're going to try and open it up a little bit. Let's see what the kid has, blah, blah, blah. That's it. I'm not messing around with any of those other games because you're going to need them all, I believe, towards the back end to be a playoff team. So, and then again, it's only a quarter. It's only, talking about opening it up. It's only a quarter. Carolina, hey, first quarter, take the ball. Hey, we're gonna go out. We're gonna try and let Caleb attack a little bit. Maybe off play action some and some quick game stuff, and it might get over the 25 pass count in that particular game. But other than that, bro, chill out. Don't do shit. Leave it alone. Week 10, maybe at the Patriots, but week 12, between week 12 and 14, I want to see, okay, the kid is taking a step. He still get grace for the season, but I want to see the kid is taking a step. We're on our way. We see the flashes. He's made plays. He's been the reason why we won in some of those games, and then we go from there.
Coach, I want to run this by you right quick. I see by the time they get to that bye week, they're gonna know what does and doesn't work with this kid. We might have tried some stuff in the first 5-6 games here. Then we're gonna table that, and we got a good concept of a group of plays that we think we can win with by week 7. By the bye week, I think you'll probably see, and you can tell me if you disagree or not, something different. They're gonna have it dialed in with him, I think, by week 7. By the time they come out of that bye, rather.
That's why I pushed it back towards the end, because you got how we need to play at the beginning of the season, right? Weeks 1 through 6, how we need to play. We need to run the ball, play action, kind of protect the kid, right? Then you have, say, after the bye, starting at week 8, where teams are going to adjust. The film is out, right? Week 8, hey, I'm going to force them in 3rd and long, right? Not until week 12 do you see the adjustments to the adjustments. You see what I'm saying? So it's how you have to play, how they force them to play, and then week 12 is, here's the adjustment to the adjustment. Here's, okay, hey, Caleb, this is week 8 through 12 is this, Caleb, this is how they're going to try and play you. We showed them heavy run game, weeks 1 through 6, weeks 8 through 12. They forced us into trying to play you this particular way, and this is how they're going to know how to do it. Weeks 12 to through the rest of the season, okay, this is the adjustment we made. This is how we adjusted. This is how we adjusted to the adjustment. And let's see how. Let's go. Let's roll with it.
But coach, you don't think that with Eberflus being the D coordinator or the defensive guy, all right, that they're gonna get a jump on this, because they do self scout, and the one thing that they're always gonna say is, okay, well, we're successful, but what would we do to stop this? You don't think that they'll be able to say, okay, listen, we're doing this, this, and this. Teams are gonna, okay, we've been able to hit this concept or this. Teams are going to start to do this to stop it. So for us to do, so to jump the gun, we're talking chess here. You don't think Flus is going to be? It would be. I
ain't got that much confidence in his. That's a lot. That's a. It's not to be down on him per se, but that's a lot of force.
Got a lot to prove, bro.
Both the head coach and the DC. Right? Yeah. If he was just head coaching it alone and say Washington was calling the defense, then I'd be like, all right, yeah, he has time to go in there and sit in meetings and be like, or sit with Shane and be like, well, this is what you can get ready for, prepared for. But if he's going to be the DC throughout the season, I don't know. It's still, no matter what they do, because you keep in mind too, you can overcoach, right? You can overcoach or outcoach yourself. So some of these things need to play out. They need to kind of like manifest. We need to hit a point in the season where, okay, say we run the ball for 250 for weeks 1 through 8. We need a period where a team comes out and says, hey, I'm going to put 9 in the box and y'all not running nothing. Caleb's going to have to throw it over our head and beat me. We need that period to happen for his growth, success or failure. We need it to happen. So I don't even necessarily want to see us kind of like game plan our way out of the natural evolution and processing of it. I want him to face it like, all right, it's here. We tried to prepare you for it. We prepared you for it. Now let's see. Let's put pen to paper and see how you perform at it. So I don't want him to coach him around it. I want I don't want to go around the storm. I want to go through it, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, I think we got to get ready to wrap this up, man. We've giving y'all almost 2 hours worth of content. We've been out for a while, and we hope we made up for it, man. So if you would be such a good gentleman and lady, please stop over at all of our YouTube channels and give us a subscribe. If you enjoyed this content, if you thought it was worth something to you, and you want to see the content grow, you want to help these communities that we're building out here, because we are all about the community, growing a community and building, man. Between us over at Nomad, the Nomad Network, Sports Zone Chicago, and Chicago Bears 360. You have to pour into, these communities that we're trying to build if you want to see more come out of them. You pour in, it's what you give into it. That's what you get out of it, man. These some good brothers right here, man. It's so organic and so fun talking to these guys. It's unreal. It's almost like I took a step back into my playing days and some of my frustrating days sitting in a classroom listening to all this. I ain't gonna lie to you, I usually call it BS, but I know how informative it is, and I know how much it helps the viewers and the fans all together understand what the hell's going on out here, the phases that need to be gone through, the steps that need to be taken, those teachable moments that this young kid is gonna have to go through. I know we expect a whole hell of a lot out of them. We really should, but to be patient, because nobody is a one-man gang out there. That's an 11-man operation on offense and an 11-man operation on defense that needs just to be synced up. And this is what you hope for. But in order for that to happen, the process starts now. The process starts right the hell now. Even on vacation, they need to be working. And I think by the time they come off of this working vacation, get to camp and start going, I think by the time we get to that first, I don't know if we'll see the inter-practice scrimmage between us and the other team before the preseason game. I'm pretty sure we will, but we should notice some things out here. You'll probably refer back to this conversation that we had about all the stuff that we discussed, and you'll take note of it. But that's the idea. This was an informative podcast. It was for you to take notes and remember some things. And so, if you need to, you play this podcast back. Catch what Coach was saying when he made a difference between the sound of a cadence versus the verbiage and how to move people around. That kind of thing is important. It's how the sausage gets made. And so before I carry on, because I can go on all day about this, man, before I go any further, let me pass it on to the Canuck for some pleasantries before we get out of here.
Man, you got me hungry. All the sausage talk. Anyways, pause.
Yeah,
thank you. Hey, man, great chopping it up with the fellas today. Follow Sports Zone Chicago. Follow Coach T at Chicago Bears 360. Definitely follow us here at the Nomad Network. Always chopping it up and enjoying the conversation with brilliant fellas like these. In any event, guys, thanks for joining us. Let me give you guys a little bit of love out there in the chat. Jojo Loco, how you doing?
Crazy Jojo.
Got James Joseph. What's up? James Joseph.
Crazy Jojo.
Crazy Loco Jojo. And we got Mr. Mayhem out there. Bearlissimo's with us all day. Don Burr, absolutely zero love for you, Don Burr. Randy B, how you doing, Randy? Second to none. Thanks for repping with us. Who else we got out there? Ron Winarski, AC Adam, Gregory Stevens, Joseph Archer, man, Mahad Mudin. I'm butchering the last name Mahad, but you're the only Mahad in the chat, so you know I'm talking to you. Take that, Mahad. The Smitties, both the Smitties were with us today, holding it down. Hey, Joseph Belinsky, who super chatted us today. A little love for King Booker World for a super chat. Jason super chatted us. Hey, man, Richard Long, Broski Bear, all sorts of love for all you guys. Thanks for blessing us with your time. And, hey, I'll throw it down to the super back so we can get out of here and get back to real life. Super back.
Sports owners and Maniacs unite. Great episode today. Love chopping it up with my guys, man. I really appreciate it. Enjoy it, man. Enjoy it. Remember, just take it one day at a time. Make sure you follow Sports Zone Chicago's YouTube channel. All right. We also have a Roku channel. So if you have a Roku television in the house, download the channel. You can watch us on a big screen. It's going to be exciting. All right, I'm looking forward to it. It was great chopping it up with my guys. As I said, with Kaz, with Nomad, and of course with Coach T. Special guest, last minute guest. Man, I love it. I appreciate it, and it's gonna be a good one. Enjoy it. If you're in summertime shot right now, it's about 90 degrees, give or take. And
hey, we got some love in the chat there. Super back. A little bit of love for our guy Greg Braggs. How's it going, Greg? Hopefully all is well at CHGO. Big extra no love to Don Burr from Smitty. $5 worth of zero love. I love it. And my guy James Ford, thanks for coming out. Hey, just wanted to round it out there.
Hey, Braggs, hold on, Braggs. I'm gonna get in contact with you, man. We got to get you on, man, so we can clear the air. People saying some messy stuff right now, but it ain't nothing messy, man. We're gonna clear the air and get back to some unity, man. The season's coming up. I'm gonna get in contact with you, man. See if you want to come on.
Hold it down, Greg. Coach T, what are you thinking, brother?
Man, no, don't clear the air with Braggs, man.
No, I ain't never gonna trip on Braggs. Braggs was always there day one.
Weirdo, man. No, I'm just messing. That's my guy. Hey, listen, man. It's always fun, man. There's certain people that can get the last minute call up, man. 2 of them are actually on the line right here. Actually, 3 of them now. They can get the last minute call up. Listen, man, y'all slide some of them super chats over the Chicago Bears 360, man. I need some help, bro. Your brother.
You monetize, man? I didn't know you monetized yet.
Yeah. We did. Okay. It's all good. No, these jokes. Listen, man. We'll be back mid-July. We'll be back mid-July on a regular scheduled program. Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, man. We're gonna gin up the guests. We're gonna get the rotation of guests back going again. Greg is amongst that crew. I got a few people that I owe a show because we canceled out in June, the end of June and July to take care of family matters and personal health stuff, man. But I'm excited to be here, man. I'm excited to be alive, blessed to be alive, man, to be on this side of the dirt. Listen, I think this is going to be a great season to cover. And for me, I just want to let the people know, tracking wise, for me, because I love the process so much, I want to track the process of development and the evolution of this football team with accuracy. So kind of the great thing about Justin Fields being gone for me is because I came to Bears DIY media with Justin Fields. So there was an attachment there, but I don't have to. I can really engage the Bears media aspect of it from a true sort of like sports journalist aspect and really report from a coach's perspective on what I see and not have so much invested into it, right? And that's going to be the angle for this season. It's going to be about, like, if you want to know, what we believe from a schematic standpoint and where we think this team is, and I'm going to be relying on different people like Sean and Belismo that get into the tape. Like, I'm going to be listening and like looking for confirmation of some of the things I see to say, okay, this is where we are. Then y'all want to tap in because that's the approach we're taking with it this year. And it's going to be a little bit more nuanced and more detailed in that right than previous seasons. So I'm excited about that.
Man, you know what? One thing about being a podcaster and the host is that I don't like. And that is when we have certain guests on. And, you have to, as a podcaster, as a host, you have to be more the facilitator. And these guys were into the weeds on some football stuff today that I wanted to barge in and be the most talkative one, but I know when to shut my ass up. And today was one of those days, man. You guys got some nuggets today. It's going to be some great shorts we're going to cut out of this show. Some real nuanced football conversation was had here today in case you didn't notice it. We got down for it today, man. Hopefully you guys were satisfied with it. And, we was out of here for a while and we came back with a real strong show, man. And I will reach out to Braggs to see if he wants to come on. I know he will, man. We're going to tie this thing back up, man, get together as Bears fans as we should and stop all this negativity going on. Whatever part I might have played in any of it, I will apologize openly for it if I played any role in it. But we're gonna clear the air on that and make sure the Bears can equally enjoy all these podcasts without any reservations. That's what I would prefer to see happen. But that being said, let me give you guys a quick little nugget, man, about I'm gonna talk to men in particular here. Women too, but men in particular, especially black men. Guys, take care of your mental health. Take care of your mental health. And I'm not saying go run to the doctor and go get whatever kind of medication this doctor may or may have he wants to give you. There's a lot of herbal and natural supplements out there that can help with whatever you got going on. And just as a point of reference, man, most of the time people, you're up, you're down, you're around, you're this, that, and you can't understand why you're feeling a certain kind of way. Me as a mental health professional, I had to get really tied into a lot of this stuff and understand why, the whys of everything, Nagy's famous words, understanding the whys. And I'm gonna tell you a key reference point right now. Every last one of you guys should reevaluate your diet. Every single one of you guys, anybody within the sound of my voice, you might have a pretty good diet going on, but evaluate the diet. A lot of your problems tend to stem from what you're eating, what you're not eating.
No, not a lot. All of them, just about all of them.
Yeah.
All your health problems.
Yeah. So it's diet, and that's nutritional health and mental health. Just all that ties in, man. And I would my suggestion to anybody, kids, if you don't mind taking a ticker down, I don't want that playing while we in the show, but yeah, just take note of that, man. Please check with your doctor. Get some observation from your doctor, but don't be the first in line when he says, "Hey, I think you need some Xanax, or I think you need some Adderall, or whatever." Man, it's other natural supplements out there that can really help you along, but you got to help the supplements help you, and that means changing your lifestyle, man. Your diet, getting some exercise in your life, keeping your blood flowing, and all that kind of thing, man. It's vital to making your whole body. Your body's a machine. Your body's a machine, but it functions very, very effectively when you put the right things in it and you give it the right amount of exercise, So I'll just say that to you guys, and I appreciate you guys being here. Love the conversation, man. I appreciate Coach T for coming on at the second's notice. Sean, and that was some great conversation going on. Ked, you too, man. That was absolutely one of my favorite shows to be involved in, man. This was one of the easy, probably one of my favorite ones, man. But that being said, I love you guys one more time. We got to get ready to get out of here. But before I go, I got to leave you with these famous words. If you can think it, you can see it, and you can absolutely manifest it. We out.
All right,
Head down, y'all.
Peace, family.